Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here, and in today's video we're going to talk about the newest weapon to be added to Apex Legends, the Bocek Bow. Now, if you don't know where the name Bocek comes from, it comes from Respawn's weapon designer David Bocek, and that's why the bow has this specific name. Now, the Bocek Bow is classified under a brand new class of weapons called marksman weapons. It has the Bocek Bow, the G7 Scout, the 3030, and another weapon, but that's not the important part. The important part is that this thing is a goddamn powerhouse. So, the Bocek Bow has no magazine. You single load every time that you fire an arrow, and it also has its own specific type of ammo. Arrows. Now, the nice thing about these arrows is that you can pick them up once you have fired them. So if we try and fire an arrow right here, you're going to see it stays stuck to the wall, and you can either walk up to it and hit your pickup button, or you can simply run over them when you have the bow equipped or on your character, and you'll pick up the arrows automatically. This is also true for when you actually kill an enemy. The arrows will be found in their body box once they are dead, so you can go back and pick up the arrows, thus making it so you don't often run out of ammo when using this bow. So much like the 3030 repeater, the Bocek Bow has a damage creep. So the longer you drop back the arrow for, the more damage you'll do to the body. So the minimum amount of damage you can do to the body is 25. If you hold it a little bit longer, you'll do 34, then 41, then 50, and then lastly, when it's fully charged, you'll do 70 damage to the body. Now, it has a 1.757 times headshot multiplier, so if you draw the bow back completely, you will be doing 123 damage to the head, which is really damn powerful for something that shoots as fast as this. And as for the legs, you do about 0.8 times the amount of damage that you would if you hit the person in the body. Now, you can also unknock an arrow or unnotch. I'm not sure what is the appropriate term here, but you can unnotch an arrow when you have it pulled back by hitting your reload button. You see there, I unnotched the arrow, and if I let it go, it just stays there. Same with when you're hip firing. So if you unnotch the arrow, you'll put the bow back down and let the arrow, like the tension of the strings, lay off of the arrow. Now, with the new marksman class of weapons, you'll get a negative 15% ADS speed when you are ADS, so you move much slower this way, but I wouldn't recommend shooting this thing in hipfire because it's not all that accurate. There's actually quite a bit of deviation from the shots. You can still do pretty decent at closer ranges, but once you get at the farther ranges when you're hip firing, it doesn't do that great. So you're really going to want to use this weapon to ADS and actually take a precise shot at your enemies. Now, to fully charge the shot, I think it takes about 0.5 seconds from the time that you actually start drawing the arrow to when it is actually fully drawn to do that maximum damage that is 123 to the head. And again, I want to mention this, 123 damage to the head is nothing to scoff at. So if we go and look at what kind of sights you can put on this, you can put any 1x, the 2x, the 1 to 2x, and the 3x. This is probably one of the only times in which I would use a 3x, but the 3x on the bow is really, really good. You can get really precise shots with it, and it actually makes a lot of sense to have it on a weapon that would be used, generally speaking, in medium to longer range combat. It also has the ability to equip two hop-ups simultaneously, so Deadeye's Tempo and Shatter Caps. Now, to use the Shatter Caps, all you have to do is change your firing mode, and basically what this does is it splits the arrow into 7 smaller arrows, I guess you could say, to make it like a shotgun blast, and the pattern is, as you can see right here, kind of like a V, so pretty much in the pattern of your reticle here. So it can actually do pretty good in close quarter combat, especially if you have the Deadeye Tempo matched up with this. You can shoot the bow faster and faster if you shoot it always at the optimal time. Now, the Deadeye Tempo is active when you have it on no matter what, so even if you are changing the firing mode to the Shatter Caps, the Deadeye Tempo is always active. So basically, the Deadeye Tempo is when you're shooting the bow at the optimal speed, you'll start shooting it faster and faster until it reaches its maximum speed. So if you see these little shadows in the middle of my screen here under the reticle, when it goes blue, that is the optimal time to shoot, and every time you shoot it when it's blue, you'll be at the maximum speed at which you can shoot the bow, and you can see it is pretty damn fast, and you can do a lot of damage to enemies with this thing. it is a powerhouse. So that's pretty much it for the attachments that you can put on it. Again, you can't modify it that much because, I mean, it's already good enough as it is. And you'll see you can really rain hell on enemies that are especially standing still. So if we go to range here, we're about at, what, 79 meters. We'll go a little bit further, maybe out to 100. This is where you really start to see that the arrows are dropping off substantially. So if I'm trying to aim for the head here, you'll see I hit him in the body. So you have to be about the second mil dot up is right about where you get a headshot. So you can see there starts to be some noticeable drop about at 100 meters, but again, it's nothing too crazy, and you don't always get into fights at 100 meters past with a weapon that only has a maximum of a 3x. That's something that would be better suited to a sniper rifle, but you can definitely still deal a lot of damage to your enemies using the bow. As for the reload time, well, the reload time is every time you fire an arrow, you knock another arrow in, and then you're ready to fire again. So it's about like 2.15 seconds. It's not quite clear. It's like 2.15 seconds or something to, you know, reload it when you unlock an arrow, I think. And then it's like 3 seconds between arrows that you can fire. Of course, if you have the Deadeye Temple, you'll be able to increase the rate of fire, thus increasing the, per se, reload time of the Bocek Bow. Now, my thoughts on this weapon. It is incredibly powerful. If you compare this to something like a Sentinel, which is, in my opinion, probably one of the highest damaging sniper rifles in the game, especially now that the Skull Piercer hop-up is no longer available for the longbow. Right here, you can see 140 damage to the head, but look at how long it takes between shots. Now, if we switch back to the Bocek Bow, look at how long in between shots it takes to fire. Even if you don't get a fully charged arrow out, you're still doing a lot of damage to targets if you're hitting your shots. Even body shots are really good. It only takes 3 body shots fully charged to down an enemy with purple armor. So it really is a force to be reckoned with. I would highly suggest you pick one up and try it for yourself. If you need to practice, always come to the training range first to get a good idea of how the bow actually performs and get a good feel for the weapon mechanics. I do feel as though the bow might get nerfed either in ground loot spawn rate, because there is a lot of bows around. If you have played Apex Legends since yesterday, there are a lot of bows in the world spawns, so pretty much everybody that you fight will have a bow, or every other person will have the Bocek Bow. And another thing that's really nice about the bow is it is super quiet. So you're not getting these loud, you know, gun sounds when you're taking shots with the bow. When people shoot you with the thing and they miss you, you're barely able to tell where the arrow is coming from. So that is also something that is really nice of this weapon, is that it is very quiet. So it's very hard to detect where you're getting hit from, especially if the person is just taking pot shots at you and they're missing. You'll have a pretty hard time figuring out where that person is shooting you from. So with all this being said, the Bocek Bow, I think it's a great addition. There's something so awesome about using a bow in a first-person shooter that I just enjoy a lot, and I will definitely be using this weapon quite a bit in the coming weeks, if not in, you know, the foreseeable future in Apex Legends. But definitely give the Bocek Bow a try and see how it performs for you and see how much damage you can do to your enemies. It is a lot of fun. But anyways, that'll do it for this video. Let me know what you think about this weapon in the comment section down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.